Huh? He hit? Where's the ball? Whoa, why is this rig so long? So I don't think I've really touched about golf etiquette much in my videos, but I thought that is important to include in the video because you might think that it's funny to hit into people or hit close to people when they're teeing off or on the fairway or on the green. But first of all, you are risking hitting them because you never know, with golf you could really hit somebody and get them really hurt. So please be careful. Please wait for your turn. Be patient because that's a part of golf. And if you're not going to learn golf etiquette, it's better that you do not step foot on the golf course because you're not only a danger to yourself and your playing partners, but you're a danger to everybody else on the golf course as well. Don't forget that we're out here to play golf, the game that we love. If you are in a rush, play through, or maybe don't play when you're in a rush, but please be mindful of other people. And I just also wanted to put it out there that we were definitely not slow because we were waiting for the group in front. We were also walking while everybody else was on carts. And we did ask them to pass multiple times, but they didn't want to. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say for that. And yeah, let's move on with the rest of the video. Do you want to go first? Do y'all want to go ahead? So if you didn't watch part 1 of this video, you might be a bit confused, but one of the things that I talked about was regarding picking the right targets to get yourself birdies rather than pars, and obviously that depends a lot on the holes. And one of the things that I wanted to focus on this course vlog is targets for the greens, for your approach shots. And one of the things that I said on the front nine is that some courses, obviously depending on the tee box that you're playing and the conditions and also where the pin positions are, pars are good scores and you're just not going to be able to get very close for birdies. And like I said in the front video as well, sometimes a par 72 is just a par 72 and you just need to play more safe and try to get pars versus trying to be aggressive for the birdies. So when I say you plan for choosing the right targets for your approach shots, one of the things that you might hear is that you want to choose for a miss because you're not always going to hit good shots. Well, when they say that you're choosing for a miss, what you're doing is choosing for a regular miss and not a really big miss. Like you can see here, if you hit a really big miss here, chances are you're going to be in a bunker anyway. Obviously, you have to remember that not all bunkers are created equal. From one angle, it's probably going to be an uphill bunker shot. From one, it's going to be downhill. From one, it might be a big breaker. So things like that, you might be able to see, or you might have to kind of rely on, well, let's just try not to hit it into the bunker. But one of the other factors that you might want to see is what iron you're hitting into the green. Over here, I'm hitting a 6 iron. I was planning on hitting a punch 6 iron, but the pin was on top of a slope. So I knew that I could either hit a full 6 iron and try to carry it all the way above that slope, or I could hit one a little bit shorter, and if it rolls up, and if it doesn't, I have an uphill putt. One of the factors that goes into account for that is, if I land it above the slope, is it going to stop or is it going to go over? Because if it goes over, now I'm putting downhill. So that is one of the factors that you need to look into. This depends on the club that you're going to be hitting into a green. A very important fact that I want to state here is that everything that I'm talking about right now goes into the planning part of choosing an approach shot. So if you were to split it into three, there should be three sections. Number one is the planning section. During the planning section is where you think about all these things such as bunkers, where you might be chipping from, where you might be short-sighting yourself, where you do and do not want to hit, and all these factors might also affect your club choice. For instance, here, planning might also be affected by your lie, the grass that you're hitting, etc., etc. So this all goes into the planning stage of hitting an approach shot into the green. So like I said, the first stage of choosing an approach shot is going to be planning. And the second stage is going to be selection. So selection here means choosing your club, choosing your target. If you ask me, it is pretty impossible for you to be able to choose your club and you choose your target before considering all the factors such as I've mentioned before. And that is why this is the second stage of hitting an approach shot into the green, selection. So I'm thinking after giving you the first two stages, you can probably guess what the third stage is going to be. And the third stage is going to be execution. So if you guys guessed that right, good for you. If not, you should have definitely guessed that right, because what is next to do is to just execute and to not think about stages 1 or 2 anymore. So I think this is the part that a lot of people get confused. They might be thinking, Jen, but I thought you should not be thinking about all the places that you don't want to hit the ball, etc., when you're hitting. Yes, that is 100% correct. You should not be thinking about those when you are hitting. However, at some point, you need to be thinking about all those, because if you do not, you cannot make the best club selection, the best target selection for any given shot. The way to do that is not to ignore all the hazards and everything around you, but to make the best educated guess of what is going to be the best shot, the best target, the best club for any given situation, for any given shot on any given hole. So putting all three steps together and thinking realistically about what we can pull off, let's look at this hole. Hole 17 is 179 yards, par 3. It's playing 183 yards because it's uphill. There's a bunker short and left of the green. There's a bunker behind the green. If you miss it right because the pin is tucked right, you could be a little bit short-sighted. I didn't really know what the rough situation was out there. Obviously, this is my first time playing this course. So based on all that factors, let's see what we can do on this hole. First off, it is playing 183 yards, so that is pretty long for me. That is pushing a 5-iron, and it's between a 5-iron and a hybrid. So one of the factors that I will consider is if I hit a hybrid, I will have to hit a soft shot. So it's not particularly easy to hit a soft hybrid, and that could bring more big misses into play. Additionally, if I were to hit a hybrid, the back bunker comes into play, the left bunker is still in play, and you could have a more difficult shot if you miss it long right. Because of that, I think that the hybrid is not really an option, so let's look at what happens if we hit the 5-iron. Hitting a 5-iron, what I need to focus on the most is direction. Being short of the pin is fine as long as you are short and straight, because if you are short, you basically have an uphill chip, pretty simple one, something that I know that I can pull off. I know that if I were to miss it left, I would still bring that bunker into play. However, it's an uphill bunker shot and I know that I can pull that off as well. And if I were to miss it right, It might be in the rough, it might be short-sighted, but it is still better than long right because those trees come into play long right. Based on all this and based on the fact that it is a par 3, it's a long par 3 for me, I knew that my best chance was to hit a 5-iron versus a hybrid, and worst to worst, I would leave myself with an uphill chip, which is exactly what happened here. So after seeing that slide, some of you guys might be like, wow, Jen, you are just way overcomplicating things. I just pick up a club and just go. However, this is how you reduce the chances of you having a big number, which is really what we need to do if we want to improve our scoring in golf. And at the end of the day, guess what? You might think that all this sounds complicated, but it comes down to routine, and also golf is hard. It might sound complicated, it might sound very difficult to do, but trust me, you are already doing that. You just might not be thinking about all the things that you should be thinking about. And having a 3-step routine is really going to make sure that you take everything into account so that you know that when you execute the shot, you are giving yourself the best chance at pulling off the best shot possible. And this is not going to guarantee you hitting good shots all the time. However, you would know that no matter what you do, you are committed to the shot, you thought it through, and you made the best decision, which I think is not only going to help you enjoy golf more, but it's also going to help you pull off more good shots and therefore leave yourself in better positions and also reduce the big score on your scorecard. So I hope you guys found that video helpful. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Golf with Jen.